SveNFL.
What's up, y'all?
Jonathan Rollins.
Skip me, Sarah.
Two Americans living in Sweden talking about grocery shopping.
Yeah, let's go grocery shopping.
Switch it up. I'm sorry that I used the same example for those of you that want some behind the scenes information.
Do you ever get the feeling like we've been here before?
The surprise element is gone. The grocery shop was supposed to be a special treat, and I did it, but I forgot to hit record. And an hour and 37 minutes later, we are still
thank
here.
God.
No, I know, right? I was just looking around. I was like, oh shit, we're not recording. Sorry. So we had this great deep conversation about life and about Schif told the story of the birth of his children. And I told the story. This is the first time there were tears on the podcast.
And now I don't feel like telling the story again. So we're just gonna,
it's drained.
It's in the ether. It's just floating in space.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry, man. But we'll get right to it. I mean, one thing I do want to say is that tomorrow, Thursday, for those of you listening on the day it drops, but there's a documentary about parenting. It's called Dröm Pappan, The Dream Father. And I'm in it, man. I'm talking about fatherhood.
Oh, dope.
Trying to be.
Where is that? What is
it's
that?
It's going to be on SVT.
Nice.
Yeah, they kind of profiled me a little bit and talked to some other dads. There's one dad who left Afghanistan, and he's talking about trying to raise his child under uncertainty.
Wow.
He doesn't know if he's going to have to leave the country. And then there's another dad who's raising a child was dealing with cerebral palsy. Another father that's homosexual and is dealing with he's a black homosexual man that's a father. He's trying to deal with teaching his son about racism. And then there's me, the entertainer and a father with daddy issues.
Right.
So it's a really good I really like it, the way they did it.
That's cool. Yeah, shout out to, we got Father's Day this Sunday.
Oh, maybe that's what, I didn't even put it together. I always forget it's in November.
You didn't put it together.
I did not. I was like, they're talking about dads on TV.
Yeah, it's Father's Day this Sunday in Sweden.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess, we dads are out here fucking.
You're a good dad, man. I look up to you, Schif.
Doing our thing. I appreciate that. We'll see. I've already said to my kids, like, I don't know. It's kind of up to you what you want to do. I mean, if you think that I deserve cupcakes on Sunday, then go ahead. By all means, make cupcakes, but maybe I'm not that great a dad. Maybe I just deserve some like store-bought fucking chocolate chip cookies or something. Those ones that are all dry and crumbly and shit.
I mean, it is the fall. If you want to put some pumpkin spice in, hey, by all means. No,
if you want to make carrot cake cupcakes with that, little icing on top and little, and I don't know, sprinkles. If it's up to you.
To me, that says I love you, Dad.
If you think I deserve sprinkles, then sprinkle away, my children. Exactly. I keep telling them, I'm like, I'm leaving this all up to you. They're like, are you really? It kind of feels like you're telling us what to do. I'm like, no. Don't listen to me. I got nothing for you.
They're like, Dad, we know passive aggression when we see we are in Sweden.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But,
the other thing we have this weekend, or at least I think, I don't know, in-season Hard Knocks, Arizona Cardinals, supposed to premiere Wednesday. In the States, I don't know. Our Hard Knocks, when it came here with the Lions, premiered in Europe on Fridays.
Yeah. I'm going to look for it. Hopefully it's in the NFL app. I looked last year. I wanted to see the Colts win. I couldn't find it, so I don't know.
I mean, dunking on Cliff Kingsbury has become like a real pastime for us. So normally I wouldn't care about this, but yeah. I think people
have eyes.
People know. I mean, you have to be an idiot not to see it. I'm also kind of interested, I mean, whatever. I kind of defended Kyler Murray a few weeks ago for having what a lot of people were calling a temper tantrum on the sidelines. But that problem appears to be continuing I mean, I saw him this weekend getting into it on the sidelines with D-Hop.
Yes,
like,
I saw
okay,
that.
what's going on here? Like, so there's some real drama. There's a car crash waiting to happen in this Hard Knocks, and I'm here for it. So I'm kind of fascinated to see where it goes.
Quick thing about Kyrie. I mean, Kyrie. He's got other issues.
Yeah.
But about Kyler. Do you? What offense would you like to see him in if you could move him around?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Like if they get rid of Kingsbury, what system is like? If you could put it over
there. Recency bias kind of has me thinking Seahawks.
So get him a nice running back, kind of lean on the running game, and then let him make decisions from the pocket.
Because I mean, we'll get
him on the move a little bit.
We'll get into this later when we talk about that game, but there was a moment in the fourth quarter where I felt like Geno Smith, like, literally transformed into Kyler Murray for like about 6 or 7 minutes, and it was like, what the fuck is happening right now? It was bizarre.
Yeah, it might be. It's also probably because he is Geno Smith, and there's like nobody expecting him to move out of the pocket like that.
Right, but I just mean they kind of adopted that similar game plan, or it was like Pete Carroll just kind of gave Geno the thumbs up, like, "Hey, go win us this game. Let's go off script here for a minute and do your thing." One. I think Kyler Murray would be an interesting fit in Seattle, especially with Pete Carroll and with all those weapons where you don't have to shoulder all of the responsibility for the offense as well.
I got one for you.
Each individual coach.
The Eagles' offense might be a good one, or the Eagles' style of offense might be a good one. They keep them moving a little bit. They don't put too much on Jalen Hurts, but then when it's time, he's got to make those strikes. And Kyler Murray's got a fucking cannon.
That's true.
So, yeah.
Speaking of each and everyone in the building.
Yes.
Sergeant Segway.
Sergeant Segway.
Wow. What is this? How are they the Eagles win again 29-17 against the Texans.
Yeah.
And they are what are they?
8-0. Not 8-0. They had a bye week.
Yeah, they're 8-0.
Pierce looks good.
He does.
They hung in there.
I mean, they put up a fight. Dameon Pierce, 27 carries, 139 yards. They clearly took advantage of the fact that the Eagles were without my man, former Bulldog Jordan Davis. Which obviously, he's an important piece. He just happened to go to the University of Georgia. It's not my fault that all of those things.
Go ahead, Skip. How is the University of Georgia doing?
Well, I mean, it wasn't really a huge deal. It was, we were horribly disrespected when they ranked Tennessee number 1 and then shifted Georgia back to number 3. And then for some reason we're like, oh gosh, if only we could know which team was better. Oh, they're playing each other this weekend. And then that happened. And Georgia absolutely fucking boat raced them. I mean, the crowd forced probably at least like 8 pre-snap penalties.
Yeah, it makes you feel like Cliff Kingsbury was on the sidelines over there.
Bro. It was hot. We're going to get to the Falcons, but the Bulldogs game on Saturday made that Falcons debacle. I'm just like, okay, fine. You can't hurt me. You just can't. The Falcons can't hurt me like that anymore. Right.
But the Eagles, they've been playing cream puffs.
True.
And I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like they can't control it, but
obviously you can't control it. And you have to give them credit. I mean, they did. I mean, they were tied at the half, and they made the adjustments they needed to make. Jalen Hurts started to hook up with AJ Brown. Obviously, Davis Mills, throwing a couple of picks was pretty helpful for the Eagles.
Yeah.
I just think Davis Mills is in a terrible situation where what's he supposed to do? He's got to go out there and try to win the football game, and
he is, man. He's giving a valiant effort every time. Second-year quarterback.
Yeah.
He could. I think he's got potential to be in the top half of the league of quarterbacks.
If he was on a good team, I would have. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Eagles fans, you must be stoked. But at the same time, I'm telling you, if you run up against a real football team in the playoffs, it might be an early exit. Maybe we'll see. I don't know.
Just not gonna want that.
They seem pretty smart. The coaching staff over there seems very smart.
Yeah, man. We were talking shit about Nick Sirianni when he got hired, and after the first press conference, we were like, "Is this gonna last?" But he seems to be pretty sharp. He doesn't call the plays, right?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
I don't think he calls the plays. I never see him with a play call sheet or like looking at it, and I don't ever see him talking into the mic, into the coach in the quarterback's ear. So
what does he do? Is he just a rah-rah guy?
No, I'm saying he probably puts together the offense. He probably puts together the game plan and all of that. But then fucking coaches on the side and other coaches, including my team's coach, should probably take take notes on that and not call the damn plays. I don't know. And I'm not saying Miami looks great, but I'm just saying, like, let the coaching happen, because sometimes Miami has we could talk about it when we get there, but a lot of these coaches seem like situational football is too much to handle while they're trying to call plays.
Yeah, it's hard to do two things at once. It's really hard.
Record and podcast.
Yes, or run while also holding the football, which kind of brings us to the next game. Falcons versus Chargers. Oh my God. What was the Mina Kimes tweet? What did she say?
Mina Kimes said the Chargers chargered, but then the Falcons falconed, and the Chargers won.
Exactly. It's a perfect summary.
This is great.
I mean, I got to be honest. Like, I actually felt like the Falcons had a pretty good chance to win this one going into it.
You picked it, yeah. You picked the Chargers. I mean, no, I picked them to win. But then when we went to bet, we bet on the Falcons. Like, we were
and I also picked them in our ESPN pick'em. I picked the Falcons to win this game. I mean, the Chargers have difficulty stopping the run. They were without Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. We happen to be quite good at running the ball. I mean, both of these teams are pretty well known for blowing leads and losing close games. But honestly, the Chargers, I think they got like an up close lesson, like really up close. Like, you take a look carefully and you can see how when it comes to losing, and I'm talking about losing as an art form over here, nobody can lose football games like we do it down in the A, because that's what we do. Let's get Mariota out of the way first. He was dreadful. 12 for 23, 129 yards.
Marcus Mariota.
That's a nasty stat line, man. That's fucking gross.
And he missed Kyle Pitts on a wide open walk-in touchdown by 5 yards. I mean, there was nobody near the guy. All he had to do was just put it in his hands, and it would have been a touchdown.
I rewatched that game because I wanted to see Herbert. I wanted to see what he looked like with without the big weapons, because they were short. And so I rewatched it, and I was just like, damn, when Mariota was. Sometimes I felt bad for the Falcons. How much worse I know Mariota gets yards on the ground and he can get out of stuff, but how much worse can this rookie be?
It's hard, because the thing with Mariota is that he does this where he has like a bad game and then a good game and a bad game and a good game. Yeah. And it makes it almost impossible for Arthur Smith to really justify going to Desmond Ridder. I almost feel like the only way we're going to see Desmond Ridder is if Mariota gets injured. Honestly, because he's kind of put them in a difficult spot. Which is a shame, because our run game is we're like top 5 rushing team. I can't remember the last time I could say that. Tyler Algiers had a day with 99 yards, scored Cordarrelle Patterson back. He only had 44 yards, but he had 2 rushing touchdowns. And one of them was like, Jesus Christ, he destroyed that man's soul. He just like ran right through him.
It's the Madden. Boom.
Boom.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. I was glad for him too. First game back, and then they didn't put too many miles on him. Rest him a little bit. ease them back into it.
So for those of you who missed the way this game ended, I highly encourage you to go back and watch. I can't imagine the short highlight version is all that great. Try to find the game in 40 version,
and just fast forward to the last 5 minutes.
And just fast forward to like the last 5 minutes, because it was a very much like a back and forth affair, very close the whole game.
Y'all were up 10 at one point. Right?
Yeah.
Didn't you jump out to 10-0? Then they jumped up to 14-10. I remember. Oh, yeah. Damn.
Yeah. And obviously, like, again, skipping to the end is the right thing to do here. I mean, because the Falcons, just the way that they managed to sort of figure out these like unthinkable ways to lose, right? Like, if I wrote down exactly how this game ended, like in a film script, I think the producer would probably look at me and go, this doesn't make sense. Like, why would this happen? Change it. Right?
This is so unrealistic.
So it starts with the Chargers, again, as Mina Kimes suggested, trying to charger this thing.
Yeah.
They have the lead. They have the ball. They eat nearly all of the fourth quarter clock. And they're in field goal range. It's third down. All they have to do is make sure they do not fumble the ball.
Yeah. Why would they do that?
Yeah. Cut to Falcons, Rashaan Evans punching the ball out of Austin Eckler's hands right before his knee hits the ground.
Right before.
And then 6'4", 294-pound defensive lineman Taquan Graham picks up the ball, starts running the other way. The big man has the ball.
Yeah.
He's about to hit midfield. Nobody wants to tackle this guy. He's huge.
Yeah.
Right. But fortunately for the Chargers, they didn't have to tackle him because Graham just straight up drops the ball. He fumbles.
He's on the sideline, drops it across his body to away from the sidelines.
Untouched. Like nobody touched him.
I was trying to see if it hit his leg or something. No, it just fell out his hands. The ball's too small for him.
It was crazy. The Chargers recover the ball at the Falcons' 43-yard line, and with 34 seconds left on the clock, and because he fumbled the fumble, it resets the downs.
A new first down.
It's a fresh set of downs. 3 plays later, Justin Herbert gets him back in the field goal range, and the Chargers' brand new field goal kicker, Cameron Dicker the kicker, as everybody's calling him, Dicker the kicker, hits a 37-yard game-winning field goal. Falcons fans are just sitting there, adding another embarrassing example of how we never run out of ways to lose football games. Like,
they need to have a live, what's it called? Event? What's that thing they put up? The advanced. What's the thing that pops up? The
next gen stats.
Next gen. Yeah. What if they had a next gen right at that moment? He picks up the fumble. Next gen flips to 70% or whatever it would be, and then it flips back over.
Because it probably would have been in the like 70, 80 percentile range, because there we were essentially almost approaching midfield with the ball, plenty of time to run a couple of plays. Young Wei Koo, it's money from the spot. You can't ice. We would have won that football game.
Didn't he miss a kick that game?
He did. It was a rather long one, but yeah. He did.
So you need a Mariota to get him there. I'm sorry, man.
Like I said, because of the Bulldogs, the Falcons can't hurt me. Honestly, it's all good.
Nice.
And we because this division is such a fucking dumpster fire, we still have a chance to win it. So it's like, whatever. I'm rooting for Geno Smith this week when he's out there in Germany playing against Tom Brady. Like, go get him, Geno. I'm like a huge Seahawks fan this weekend. I love it.
The Dolphins tried to give me a heart attack.
Yeah, they did.
Dude, this game is
insane.
Everybody's probably saying it's game of the week because of all the fireworks. The Dolphins. You picked the Dolphins to win and flip and pick them. They did win 35-32, I believe. And man, I was kind of hurting. I figured Dolphins would figure it out. They did figure it out and they won. But I just think about when they play good teams. And the defense just looked Like, of course, a shout out to Justin Fields. He had a great game and all that stuff. But when it was time to throw, his throws weren't great. He had a fantastic touchdown pass over Xavier Howard. He threw it exactly where it could be. It was good defense. He just threw a perfect ball. But a lot of the times they needed to depend on his arm, and he couldn't pull it off. So it's just like, I don't know, stack the box, spy. They just looked bad, and it's starting to make it seem like the Dolphins defense is not in good hands. Same players pretty much, but they're missing one factor, and that seems to be Brian Flores, and that scares me a little bit. I was hoping that keeping Josh Boyer there, maybe it's Gerald Alexander, the cornerbacks coach that they fired for some reason, the secondary coach. But I'm concerned. Tua looked fantastic. He's looked great. He hasn't lost a game this year. And they're starting to throw him into the MVP conversation because
as they should, honestly. I mean,
there's a video out there with Emmanuel Acho, former player, and he's now an analyst, and he's talking about, everybody's talking about these wide receivers are wide open, making it easy for Tua, and he breaks down how Tua is throwing people wide open with his mechanics and his. He's just good. He's just a really good quarterback, man. It's crazy to see him using his eyes and his feet and his shoulders even to get people wide open. It's amazing. And that's what I saw his first year. And I was like, this dude is special. And now it's all coming together.
I mean, Tyreek Hill has been telling us since the preseason that this is the most accurate quarterback that he's ever played with. And honestly, you know what's kind of funny to me, actually, when I watch this game, this Miami Dolphins kind of reminds me a little bit of the Super Bowl winning Chiefs. What year was that? Was that 2020 or 2019? I can't remember.
Maybe 19.
And I mean, by that, I mean
20 was the Bucks. Bucks fans would not let you forget that.
Right. By that, I mean the way that they
give up points and get points.
Exactly. The way that they can't really seem to stop a nosebleed, but they can score 40 points a game
with a lot of talent on defense, man. Yeah, I'm well,
concerned. which should give you a little hope, because it's like, it feels like if they make a few adjustments and they make it click, you know what I mean? Like, who's done that lately? Oh, the Seahawks, right? Yeah. Seahawks started out the year with like the worst, like ranked 32nd in all defensive categories, and now suddenly they're in the top 5 in most of those categories. So if they can make a little,
look at the quarterbacks they played, though. Throw that out there.
That's true.
When you start looking at who they're playing, except for this last game, they showed something.
My favorite play in this game was the block punt by Van Ginkel. How do you the scoop and score? He didn't block the punt. He scooped it and
Jalen Phillips from the U.
Jalen Phillips blocked it
with his stomach.
Van Ginkel picks it up and scores. Like, who doesn't love a Van Ginkel touchdown? Come on.
How about Phillips not picking the ball up, knowing that somebody's going to get it and run it in?
Yeah.
He's like sitting there and he kind of like looks and just like lets the ball stay there so Van Ginkel could grab it and run it in. It was great. And I love it when our special teams looks good. The talent is there, man. It's really frustrating. And the defense looked like it did at the beginning of last season, and the rumors were that Brian Flores took over. And I was scared that was true because the defense turned around halfway through the season. And then it looks like that might have been true, and that sucks for the team because defense cannot. Once you play some good teams, Tua's gonna throw some. He's gonna throw a bad pass. You know what I'm saying? He can't just have to. He's gonna have to play perfect every game.
Well, I would say that in this game, you had to deal with something that you're probably not going. Well, you're definitely not going to have to deal with week after week. And I mean, because I actually think Justin Fields is quietly becoming quite the badass at the moment, right now. They're starting to figure out a way to sort of design the game around him. He obviously broke Michael Vick's single game QB rushing record, 15 carries for 178 yards. You're not going to have to deal with that every week. You know what I mean?
17 completions.
Yeah. They're like,
he hasn't topped that all year.
I know, it's bizarre. He can only make 17 completions per game, but then you just let him run the rock. He runs
make him throw. It's so weird. Make him throw. What happened to? I guess they don't have the Byron Jones, but 178 yards, inexcusable, man. Inexcusable. I don't care who the quarterback is. at some point you got to be like, hey man, let's get the quarterback. Let's make somebody else beat us. Yeah. Bad angles, bad tackling, all of it. It just was embarrassing. And I felt like Miami squeaked away with a win, and everybody's talking about them like this super, juggernaut of a team because offense is sexy, but defense wins games in the playoffs. So I'm worried big picture about the Dolphins.
Yeah, that offense is.
I'm hoping
sexy.
that Fields is just great. But I didn't. I mean, I saw a quarterback that could run the ball and a defense that couldn't do shit.
Right.
Speaking of couldn't do shit, the Panthers played up against the Bengals, and we thought they would pinch them at least. And the Bengals came out looking like a Super Bowl contender from last year.
Right.
They remember.
Well, yeah, we obviously said going into this one that this felt kind of like a must-win game for the Bengals, who of late have been struggling. And the Panthers the last few games have been looking pretty feisty. But honestly, let's not bury the lead here, y'all, because everyone is talking about it. Baker Mayfield is back.
Yeah, baby. Baker Mayfield.
Back.
I'm so glad. Why do I like this guy? I don't know why I like Baker Mayfield. I was glad he got back in there. I figured he can't be worse than PJ.
He actually looked pretty good.
Yeah, he did. They started scoring when he came in.
I mean, the only reason that they have 21 points is because they switch quarterbacks.
PJ's ceiling is low.
Yeah, I actually read yesterday that I think they still consider PJ Walker to be their starting quarterback.
Oh, okay, I understand that, but I feel like the Bengals. It was a good thing to do against the Bengals, who traditionally adjust at the half, and you can't do shit.
Right.
So then they have nothing to adjust to when you're bringing a whole different quarterback. So it's pretty smart.
Yeah, and it's probably like, I don't know, for those of you who are listening who are hockey fans, it's kind of the equivalent of, it's quite common. Most hockey teams have two goalies. And if you get scored on like 3 or 4 times in short succession, the coach will pull the goalie and switch him out for the backup.
Just for this
Not
game.
because he thinks he can win the game. It's really more because they're just trying to send a message to the rest of the team. Like, come on, guys.
Everybody's replaceable.
Yeah, exactly.
How about PJ Walker's stat line?
It's not pretty.
3 for 10, 9 yards, 2 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. That might be the worst stat line I've ever seen.
It's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Honestly, so okay, we like to joke about the Panthers, but clearly the real headline of this game is Joe Mixon with his 5 motherfucking touchdowns.
Yeah,
Jesus
man.
Christ, this guy.
Yeah.
22 carries, 153 yards, 58 yards receiving. He had 1 receiving touchdown, and 4 rushing touchdowns. My girl Saga has Mixon on her fantasy roster.
Wow.
Dude got her 53 points.
Wow.
Insane. I mean, woo. This was a really important breakout game for him because the Bengals run game has not been great this year so far.
And they were without Jamar Chase too.
So if they can keep that going, again, this is they're going into their bye week, so they're whatever. But I'll remind people that this is kind of around the same time of year that the Bengals caught fire last year. They were a little up and down, and then they caught fire. So I would say watch out to anybody who plays them.
They played the Panthers, man.
No, but bro, Zach Taylor, he's not. Listen to me. Don't let Zach Taylor find these receipts, y'all. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
He knows he put them in an envelope somewhere. He just can't remember where he put the envelope. Okay? But when he finds that envelope with all those receipts, this shit's going to get real.
I'm not believing it. I'll believe it when I see it. He had to get all the way to Super Bowl last year. I still kind of didn't believe it. I think Anarumo is the engine that's pushing that thing.
Yeah, no, I think I do see the Bengals probably having a better second half of the season, but I'm not seeing another.
They can't really have a worse because they were so bad in the first half. But I did pick them, and I knew better than to think the Panthers would pull it off. You picked an upset.
Speaking of bad,
you picked an upset on this one.
I did, and I picked it on the Pick'em too. The ESPN Pick'em. I had a feeling that the Lions. I can say it now with confidence, but I have been feeling this for about at least 2 weeks now. I know it sounds crazy, but I think it's time to stick a fork in the Packers. I think they're done.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like break the glass with a hammer and pull the lever. It's just like red alert, panic the fuck out. Aaron Rodgers and company lose to the 1-6 Lions, and this time he doesn't really have anyone to blame.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's not like he's out here talking about benching people who aren't playing well. It's like, okay, well,
we'll go have a seat.
We'll go have a seat. We can see what Jordan Love looks like because you look like shit.
It's love time, man.
23 for 43, 291 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions, all of which were like 3 of the worst interceptions I've seen all year.
The red zone, and 2 in the red zone, right? 2 in inside the 10.
Yeah. One was off. The first one was off a player's helmet.
Yeah.
Like he threw it off the dude's helmet, off the Lions player's helmet, and it went up in the air. And you get picked off by Aiden Hutchinson.
With the shortest arms in the league, man.
Exactly. How are you going to get picked off by a guy with arms that short? I don't even know how he managed to pull it in with his little baby.
Yeah. Hutchinsaurus.
Baby. Yeah.
And he underthrew the lineman. That was like, just throw it to the corner, to the pylon.
He was trying to throw it to the was it a lineman or was it a tight end?
Like
whatever.
Bakhtiari, whatever his name is.
Yeah, he was trying to throw it to the tight end, and
that was the lineman.
Like, way off of his back foot.
Yeah.
You know, he got nothing on it. He threw it up like a beach ball, and that shit got snatched. It was just like, what are you doing? The third pick was like a hero ball moonshot, underthrown again. It was bad, man.
And the defense showed up. The Lions have a really good can have an explosive offense. They've now dropped drastically in the offensive rankings, but we know what they're capable of. And the defense showed up, man. All they had to do was get more than 15 points, and they had all the opportunities possible, and they couldn't.
How hard is that? And they did, and they managed to sort of they got to within 2 points. Late in the game, and what could have been a Lions 3 and out was saved by a defensive holding call that kept this 13-play 70-yard drive alive that ended with a Goff touchdown to James Mitchell. Then both teams turned the ball over on downs before it was all over, putting a little chocolate cherry on top of this shit bowl for good measure.
Yeah, man.
I mean, this was just a terrible football game on both sides of the ball, or both for both teams, actually.
Yeah. And Dan Campbell's talking about. Did you see the press conference? It's like, it feels great. I feel good. It's like, dude.
But he also I heard that part. But he also said he was like, you know what? I'm exhausted.
Oh yeah.
I just want to go home,
have a beer,
and just put my feet up and have a beer. Like you can tell, like he felt like he got away with one there.
He's done, man. This is it for him.
To me, the thing that's kind of fascinating about this game is that, and we'll get to it later, the performance, the Packers, this particular performance, plus the Davante Adams situation in Las Vegas. I mean, the Packers have to be pulling their hair out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like clearly the thing that they're missing. It's not really going great for Davante Adams in Las Vegas. That's not working out the way he hoped it would.
Could have been there.
And if they had just figured out a way to like make everybody happy, then I don't think we'd be having this conversation we're having about the Packers right now.
Nope.
And they lost a lot of people in this game too, to make matters worse. I mean, they had a ton of injuries in this game. They lost Romeo Doubs, starting right guard John Runyon, linebacker Rashawn Gary. They lost cornerback, who also happens to be my man, former Bulldog Eric Stokes. Whatever.
You got this smug look every time you do it, man. It's fantastic.
It's just I'm just
it is.
reporting. I'm reporting the facts that come to me as they come. You know what I mean? It's
If people like it, that's good. If they don't, fuck them.
I don't know if I've heard that one.
Yeah, so that's one from Silverhander.
That's pretty good.
Charles Barkley, man. They like it, that's good. If they don't, fuck them.
Wow. Truer words have never been spoken, Charles. I love it. Damn, that was good.
Then we got the Colts and the Patriots. This was the most unimpressive blowout I've ever seen. I feel so good. I watched it myself because, truth be told, I watch every divisional team in my division. I watch it, the 40-minute one. I watch through just to see what we're dealing with in our division. And I love it. I love how bad the Patriots look. Even though they blew them out 26-3, Colts looked horrible. If you watch the highlight one, it looks like they just it was just all like. And now this offense has the ball in one play. Now this offense has the ball. It's like, what the fuck's going on? They're not good, man. The Patriots aren't good. The Colts are just the worst team in the NFL right now, it looks like. And it sucks that we picked them to win the division. And Mac Jones.
Yeah.
It's looking like bottom 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
Bottom 3.
Yeah.
Can we name 4 quarterbacks worse than Mac Jones right now? PJ Walker.
Well, Sam Ellinger, who played in this game.
Yep, Sam Ellinger, sure. PJ. So they got to hope they play the Panthers next week. Sam Ellinger, PJ Walker. Is Mariota better? Yes. Yes, he's better. He's better than Mac Jones. He's got another dimension to him.
You sure? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, fine.
Who else we got? I can't think of. I really can't. Brissett's better. I'm trying to think of the worst ones. Mac Jones is a bottom 3 quarterback in the league. I love it.
He's not good.
But the defense looks good, and they'll keep them in games. They're trying to hide the team. They're trying to hide Mac Jones. Belichick is trying to hide him, but I mean that shit.
It's
stinks.
fun. It's funny that you put it that way because I seem to remember last year feeling like Mac Jones was kind of on a leash, right? And coming into this year, we kind of felt like, okay, are they going to keep him on a leash or are they going to let him loose? And clearly they let him loose, and now I think you're right. I think they're trying to hide him. Which, you can win football games like that, but you have to have a lot of good pieces around you to.
20 for 30, 147 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Right. So that's good. He's not turning the ball away. I think he fumbled though, right?
Look, the Colts. Yeah, you're right. They play a better team, and maybe they get stomped. But the Colts were 0 for 14 on 3rd downs. They were 0 for 2 on 4th downs. You can say what you want about Matt Ryan, but
Ellinger was running for his life. 9 sacks.
Exactly, and I actually kind of glad that Matt Ryan was not in this game because he might be dead right now. But yeah, Matty Wheels would have been in big trouble. Speaking of Matty Wheels, this is kind of funny. Matt Ryan, he obviously has a few different nicknames that those of you who have listened to the podcast long enough are familiar with.
Yeah.
Matty Ice, Matty Wheels.
Matty Stats.
Made up Matty Stats.
Stat Ryan.
So in this game, considering that Matt Ryan was benched for Sam Ellinger, I obviously started to think we should think of a nickname for Sam Ellinger. And then I decided to search and see if he already had a nickname.
Okay.
And I found an article from his days as a Texas Longhorn.
Okay.
So he was part of the 2017 recruiting class at Texas. And Ellinger claims in this article that one of his own teammates, who was also part of this particularly bad group of recruits, he nicknamed the whole group the Shit Stain 17.
What?
For the year 2017.
Oh, you said 17. 2007. Okay, 2017. Okay.
Oh, I meant to say 17.
Shit
my
Stain
bad.
17.
Shit Stain 17. So I immediately thought, there you have it. That's the perfect nickname for this quarterback who's playing for the Colts right now, Sam Shitstain Ellinger. So there you have it. Sam already had a nickname locked and loaded. I just had to go find it.
What number does he wear?
That's a good question.
4. He wears number 4. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, if he wears 17, oh my God.
We could just call him Shitstain Ellinger. Like we could just leave Sam out.
Yeah. Who needs the Sam? It's still S. Ellinger.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I felt bad for him because sometimes you feel like it's a learning process and all that stuff. It felt like he was literally thrown to the wolves. The game resulted in the firing of Frank Reich. I feel like I'll talk about it a little bit later, but I don't know. I feel like Reich might have been the scapegoat, and he was replaced by Jeff Saturday. And I don't know, man. I don't know about this. The Colts, it's like, is this full on? I don't know what they're doing, man. Especially with the Matt Ryan thing. Like, there's no way they thought, then you're not trying to win. And the locker room has to know that they're not trying to win. Like, it's a business decision.
It has to be frustrating for the other players, obviously, to be in that situation. And obviously, you know, we're left to speculate, as you suggest, what they're really doing. Frank Reich gets fired after a 3-5-1 start. They currently have the 6th worst offense in the NFL, the 3rd worst rushing offense.
And the defense was balling. Imagine if you're DeForest Buckner or Shaquille Leonard.
I know, dude.
If you're Shaquille Leonard and you're just like, yo, they're not even trying. Like, I see Matt Ryan sitting over there on the side. He gives us a better chance to win. I'm playing my ass off. I just got off an injury myself. I'm back to playing football, and I got to do this shit.
Yeah. And then, of course, the way the whole coaching situation was handled was a little bizarre.
Yeah.
You know, there was apparently a false report that one of the defensive assistant coach, John Fox, was going to be the interim coach. But then all of a sudden it got even weirder when they announced that, you know, former Colts center, Jeff Saturday.
He's considered a really good center. And he's coached high school football. It makes sense.
His only coaching experience comes at the high school level. So obviously I'm not sure what they're thinking there. He appears to be the first NFL head coach with no experience in the NFL or college level as a coach.
Really?
He's a 6-time Pro Bowler for over the course of 14 seasons. So, you know, there's that. He also happens to be from Atlanta, Georgia. So maybe that's what made
John Fox is on their staff and they didn't let him coach?
That's correct. Yeah.
The John Fox? I thought it was like his son or something.
Mm-mm.
John Fox, that used to coach the Denver Broncos, right? Or one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This is bullshit.
I don't know, man. I've seen this all over the internet, and obviously it's worth mentioning that over the last couple of weeks, Colts owner Jim Irsay has called out Dan Snyder. He's benched Matt Ryan for Sam Ellinger, fired Frank Reich, and now he's hired Jeff Saturday, a dude with 0 top-level coaching experience, whose last name is literally a day of the week where the NFL usually doesn't play football. So I'm just saying we might want to check and see if Jim is like back on the pills. You know what I mean? We need to check on Jim Irsay and see what the fuck is going on.
What the fuck? Exactly. Good question.
I personally think that I really do think that this is probably what he would consider his best chance at getting a top 5 pick. Because they're going to go out and, I mean, this is now their 7th quarterback in 6 years. I think we talked a lot about this at the beginning of the year, that this don't you feel sorry for me about the whole Andrew Luck thing. That shit's over. You know what I mean? Like,
plus you got Luck after over a decade of Manning.
Exactly. We get it. And we felt bad for you before, but we're over it. It's time for you to actually do something smart. Like if I was a Colts fan, this is what I would be like, yeah. We all hated that. And we all thought that sucked. And we all gave you as much rope as we felt like we needed to give you. But now we're ready to hang your ass. Go get us a fucking quarterback.
And they could have. It's not like they don't. It's not like they can. There was this big sweepstakes. The 49ers weren't bad. And they traded up and they got, I mean, not bad. They weren't the worst. They figured out a way to get the quarterback they wanted. I'm not saying it's going to work out. But
no, of course. But instead of doing that, they basically made the same mistake twice. They got Carson Wentz. Or no. Did they make the same mistake 3 times?
I mean, Brissett didn't really. Does that count?
No. I'm talking about
they had
Phillip Rivers. They went and got Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
They got the aging quarterback that they thought was going to get him over the hump. They made this mistake 3 times.
I forgot about Rivers, yeah. He almost got him to
They got
play.
Rivers. Yeah, if it wasn't for that, remember when we tried to tackle that guy and he was like a turtle on his back? It's still one of my favorite things that's happened since we started doing this podcast. Where he's like, that's so fucking great. Rivers, Wentz, and Matty Wheels.
And Ryan, yeah.
And now it's like, dude, okay.
And Ryan on a bad contract that they're not willing to honor. Which is quiet as it's kept. That's why he's not playing.
Yeah.
Then we got the Bills and Jets. And the
upset of the week.
Upset of the week. I don't know what sound effect to do. But I love
Jets
it, though.
fan.
Yeah, a Bills fan.
I mean, oh yeah, exactly, a Bills fan.
You picked, for some reason, you thought the Bills were going to win this game. I could have told you better than that. And the Jets.
But didn't we say that this was like a sneaky trap game? I think.
I thought we said that for Washington and Vikings.
Okay. Well, I was definitely. You know what I was thinking about this game before it started, was honestly like how much. Like I have zero faith in Zach Wilson and the offense.
No.
None whatsoever.
And the Bills defense is good.
Right. But I really think this Jets defense is legit.
Solid, man.
The O-line or the D-line rather is wreaking havoc in the trenches.
And the secondary
is balling the fuck out, dude.
Yeah, man. And they're all young, and then they're naive. They're like, why can't we win? I was winning last year at my college.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're like, what? Who's what? Well, I'm young and fast. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. And Saleh is like, fuck it. He don't care either. I love the attitude. It's obviously, these teams, they take on the personality of the coach. It's happening in the other team across the way in New York, where they're taking on the personality of Brian Dable. And you see it right away, man. And you got to respect the Jets, man. They came out there and they slayed a giant.
I mean, I still didn't expect this. Josh Allen, obviously he had 86 yards rushing and 2 really amazing rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
But in the passing game, he went 18 for 34, 205 yards, no touchdown passes, and 2 interceptions.
One of them was inexplicable.
Agreed. Yeah.
What? I couldn't see what he was seeing unless he was just looking past the I don't know.
Well, he also got sacked 5 times in this game too, so he was probably seeing ghosts. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
I mean, all the Jets needed from Zach Wilson was to not make any boneheaded mistakes, and to his credit, he managed to do that or not do that rather. 18 for 25, 154 yards and 1 touchdown pass. Michael Carter, the running back, had a nice day.
Yeah, he's back.
Wilson did have a fumble, but fortunately 2 plays later, Sauce Gardner stepped up and got a pick, which turned into the Jets into a Jets touchdown. 3-4 plays later. That put the Jets up 17-14, and they never let go of the lead from there.
Yeah, man.
I still don't trust Zach Wilson. He gives them every opportunity to lose week after week. I'm sure of it.
They love talking to him in the press conference too. They want that to be the face of that team so bad. It sickens me a little bit. It's like the face of that team is Robert Saleh.
I guess.
Yeah,
he's handsome to some
cute.
people.
He's cute and young, and it'd be nice if he was. He's got the baby face and all of that, and it's like
moms seem to want to fuck him,
and he seems to want to fuck moms. So I feel like stop it, New York. It's not the guy. I heard somebody talking about this, and I want to say it as well. The Jets could have drafted Justin Fields.
Oof, my God. That's terrifying. I didn't know that.
Imagine that, because he went like 13th or something like that, or 12th, whatever he went. And
you're right.
Zach Wilson is in the same class. Imagine if the Jets would have been like, "Yo, let's get this guy who's on one of the top teams, and let's grab him instead of going with a BYU quarterback." When does that ever work out besides Steve Young?
Wow, shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. They're probably kicking themselves hard because they would probably be a contender.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And God,
he would be terrifying on this team. It's like slowly sinking in, like how scary it would be to have Justin Fields on a team like that.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Jets, man. You never know though. That's the draft for you. The Vikings had a little scare playing against the Washington Commanders. I picked the Vikings to win this game. I did not know it would be this close, even though we did say this was kind of a trap game.
Right. But we also said on the phone yesterday when you called me, I was at the grocery store, and we were joking about how this game looked like one of those like fist fights between two old drunk Russian men, you know?
I forgot to get that video, yeah.
But okay, so this was quite cool actually for Kirk Cousins when it all came down to the wire, honestly.
And everybody's doing our thing, man. Where they're grabbing the soundbite that we were first on, man. I just want to say that.
So the Washington fans were celebrating the fact that they were leading in this game by chanting, "You like that? You like that?"
Yeah.
Like in the game, right? And then the Vikings erased the Commanders' 10-point lead in the fourth quarter thanks to a field goal, a Taylor Heineke interception that 2 plays later led to an amazing one-handed touchdown catch by James Cook. Yes. I mean, the defender had his other arm like pinned behind his back
with the left hand.
He was like, "Oh, I got the other hand.
I got two. I got two for real.
I got 2, bro. I got 2." That made it 17-17. Huge sack by Danielle Hunter. His second of the game forced the Commanders to a 3-and-out punt with 6:22 left on the clock. And Kirk Cousins, and honestly, this first-year head coach, Kevin O'Connell, who does not get talked about enough in this league.
No, he doesn't. Good point. Yeah.
Orchestrated a brilliant 15-play, 44-yard, 6-minute drive. How do you go 44 yards in 15 plays? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how and you eat 6. There's 6:22 left in the game. You eat 6 minutes. They converted multiple third downs as well as a critical fourth down conversion in this game to set up this 28-yard chip shot for Greg Joseph to win the ball game. I mean, when it really came down to it, the Vikings. There's something. I think the reason why last year we thought of the Vikings as the team that would they were dreadful in these one-score games.
Yeah, just a year ago.
But there's the only thing that's changed for them this year. They're in the same situation with all these one-score games.
They're just winning.
But I would argue that the reason why they're winning is probably Kevin O'Connell.
You got something to say about Mike Zimmer, man? You trying to talk
I don't want to
speak
ill of Mike Zimmer. His son just passed away last week, so
he's got the hot wife. You know what I'm saying?
He's fine. Mike is good. He's coaching with Prime down in.
Is that where he's at?
He's working with Deion Sanders, as a defensive coordinator for.
How long before Deion jumps over to the NFL?
I don't know. Everyone's trying to get Deion to take the Auburn job, but I don't think he wants it.
Nah, stay in the black colleges.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the next game, the next game, you chose the Raiders to beat the Jaguars. This is another, I guess, kind of a shit bowl candidate. The Raiders did not beat the Jaguars. The Raiders somehow McDaniels still has a job. I don't know. I think he's on the hottest seat right now. There's no reason this team should be this much worse than they were last year. They're 2-6 and they lost to the Jaguars.
I mean, they needed this one bad, and obviously, anytime you jump up to a 17-0 lead, That is definitely a good way to show that sense of urgency that you should have. I mean, they went to Devonta Adams early and often. At one point, I think he had 9 catches for 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. But then it all suddenly just dried up. I think for the rest of the game, I think he only had 1 more catch for like 1 yard for the rest of the game.
You heard he spoke about it?
I did. And what did he say? I didn't.
He came out and was like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why are we changing the game plan? Like, what are we doing? Basically, keep giving me the ball. Like, we're winning. We got 17 points doing what we're doing. And then you switch it up, trying to be fancy, trying to be cute. Stop trying to be cute, and let's win these games.
Right.
And Josh McDaniels basically responded by saying, like, they adjusted. I don't know what else. You know what I mean? Like, of course they adjusted, Josh.
Well, that was actually what I was going to say, was that you do have to give the Jags defense credit for adjusting to a certain degree. But in all honesty, this game felt like it turned into the Travis Etienne show in the second half.
Oh yeah.
Because dude, they basically started, inserting the Derrick Henry game plan. They gave him the ball 28 times.
Yes.
He carried it for 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. Christian Kirk got into the end zone as well. And also, you got to give credit to T-Law. Had a nice clean game. 25 for 31, 235 yards and a touchdown, no picks.
Yeah.
That's
really good. Yeah.
I'm not sure what to say to Raiders fans, honestly, because
besides sorry. Should have got a better coach. Like, we've seen Josh McDaniels. We've seen this act before, man. They should have picked a better coach. There were good coaches out there. They could have got Kevin O'Connell.
True.
Like, I don't know. I don't feel bad.
Can I tell? There's one. I have this random stat that I saw after this game, which I think kind of tells us pretty much everything we need to know at this point.
All right.
This is insane.
Okay.
The Raiders are 53-5 since the year 2000 when leading by 17 or more in a game. Okay? Mm-hmm. 3 of those 5 losses have come this season.
Wow. Come on.
Under Josh McDaniels.
How many times are they going to bring him to the principal's office before they suspend him? It's like, come on, man. Cut ties. I don't know who else on that coaching staff, but somebody's probably more qualified.
I don't know, dude.
He started off with a boom when he first started coaching with the Denver Broncos. He came out and he was kicking ass with the Broncos. They started off like 6-0 or some shit like that. But then it came out that they were cheating. I don't know if you heard about that.
I'm familiar with that story. Yes.
Some players came out. They were like, "Yeah, we were cheating, man. That's how we figured out." Then they got figured out or whatever. I don't know why, but they fell apart and things got messy over there, and he got fired. Then he did the Colts dirty. They tried to hire him.
This is fat. Okay, so a quick little preview for next week. The Colts are playing the Raiders next week.
Ooh.
Okay? And you have a lot of interesting narrative here. You have the fact that Josh McDaniels essentially left them at the altar.
Yeah.
After saying yes to the job, he bailed.
Yep.
Which is why they hired Frank Reich. And you also have Jeff Saturday, the new interim coach, who, like, just a week ago during the Raiders Saints game was tweeting about how shitty he literally said, "Man, the Raiders are trash this year." He didn't know he was getting ready to be the next Colts head coach and play them the following week.
Or maybe
you got a lot of interesting storylines coming into that game. It's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. Even though it's probably going to be the shit bowl of the week.
Oh, for sure.
Then we got the Seahawks played the Cardinals. Man, our boy Geno, man, I'm starting to become a believer, man. I actually wrote him off.
They wrote me off. I ain't right back though.
And he has not written me back.
I honestly don't think most people realize that this Geno shit is for real.
It's for real. Yeah, I'm on board.
And again,
I still don't like him. I have this thing that just something about him I don't like. But hey, that's got nothing to do with his football. He seems like he's ready, man. He grew up. He's ready to play.
I mean, week after week, this dude, you just keep thinking the wheels are going to come off the bus at some point, but he just keeps doing his thing.
Yeah.
And again, he did and the way that he won this game, as I alluded earlier, by essentially doing a Kyler Murray impression
against him.
He out Kyler by picking up these huge first down conversions with his legs. He basically threw the game away with his pick six in the third quarter, only to turn around and lead back-to-back touchdown drives, two of which were, 13 plays, 80 yards, followed by this 5-yard play, which was kind of the dagger. That was the one, what's his name? Kenneth Walker, who, this fucking guy.
Oh, I love him. He's one of my favorite young players right now. Noah Fant. How about Noah Fant? Let's give him some love.
Noah Fant had a day for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Cliff Kingsbury?
Oh, old Kingsbury Cliff?
When's he going to the principal's office?
Well, we're going to see it on Hard Knocks for sure.
It's going to be great, man.
That sick toe tap touchdown by DK Metcalf, where he's in the back of the end zone.
He threw it right, and I like how they said it, threw it right behind the linebacker's ear because he never looks back. Or it might have been a cornerback or whatever, the defender's ear. Never looks back, and DK's right there. Toot, toot, toot. It's in, touchdown. Yeah, I'm starting to feel bad for Kyler and them. They're falling apart. That feel like that locker room is like tearing at the seams a little bit. He might be losing his team, man, Cliff Kingsbury, and they just extended him. The GM. It was so dumb. We said it.
That was the dumbest. It was the dumbest offseason story we covered for sure.
This should have been the one. That was the one wait and see moment. Make him earn it. Make the coach earn his contract. Even if you wait and see on Kyler Murray, wait and see on all of it.
Just look on the other side of the field. Like Pete Carroll's out here earning his fucking. I don't know what he's getting paid, but it's clearly not enough.
I think he's GM too.
The way they turned this game around, the Seahawks defense too, just like their season. We've said it before. Kyler led the team in rushing, of course. Lord knows it's difficult to stop him when he decides to take off, but they did cause him to fumble at a key moment in the game. They held James Conner to only 45 yards rushing. They held D-Hop to only.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They held D-Hop to only 4 receptions for 36 yards.
Yeah.
Can we talk about there are only 5 targets overall for DeAndre Hopkins? Cliff, what you doing there, buddy? Honestly,
he's calling the plays. Murray slides so fast. I was shocked that he didn't slide. Like, he used to play baseball. He was a really good baseball player. And when he slides, it just looks like a baseball slide. How quickly he's down and back up, like it's over, play's over. And it was weird that he just ran so recklessly without sliding. Already had the first down. It was kind of his fuck up a little bit.
Yeah. And of course, like we said, you had Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins look like they're kind of barking each other on the sidelines.
Yep.
It was kind of hard to see what they were saying to each other. If I had to guess, I would say that Kyler was probably trying to explain to DeAndre Hopkins that, like, I can't throw you the ball because I'm getting sacked 5 times in this game. Seattle was bringing the heat, son, bringing it. The other guy who I really popped for me on the defense is this DB Tariq Woolen.
Mm-hmm.
He was like a blanket on D-Hop all night long. This guy was so good breaking up passes. He was. It's one of those games where it's like, even when you're watching it on Red Zone, it's like, how does this guy's name keep popping up? Like, he must be balling the fuck out, and he was for sure. This Seahawks team is fun, man. You had this game on at the same time as the Bucs-Ram game, which honestly, if you would have thought about this at the beginning of the year, you'd be like, well, this Bucs-Rams game, this is going to be the sexiest game of the week right here. You know what I mean? But no, this game was not sexy.
How about the penalty, like the self-inflicted wounds by the Cardinals, which is another staple of a poorly coached teams.
Yeah,
all of the false starts and illegal procedures. man downfield. It's like it just kept happening at the wrong times and
in their building.
Yeah.
Like you can't even blame it on like, oh, the 12s, we couldn't hear it. No, dude, you're in Arizona. Like, why are you taking so many false start penalties?
And this is another one where it's the coach is call. I feel like the coach is calling the plays, and maybe he should hand it off and focus on other stuff, man. They're getting like delay a game, like a little shit like that. I don't know. I just don't believe in I got an agenda here. I don't believe in the head coach calling the plays.
I think they really miss my man, former Bulldog AJ Green. They need to get him back in there. You know, get him catching some footballs. Come on now, you get a little AJ Green pop.
I don't know about
what about the AJ Green pop? Come on now, he's still got something in him. He's got something in the tank, son. Let's go.
Speaking of pop, Tom Brady was playing against the Rams. Somehow they win this game, 16-13. Kind of destroys the Rams' chances of winning that division with Seattle looking the way they look. Brady threw the ball 58 times.
Jesus.
280 yards, 1 touchdown. I don't know. I wasn't impressed by the Bucs, but they pulled it out, man. And it was on and it's so funny because they won basically because of a pass interference that put them down there, and then they can run it in at the end. And the announcers are acting like this is classic Tom Brady. They want the narrative so bad. No, man. Tom Brady, I mean, he's working with what he's got. He's not the reason they're losing, but they lost 4 in a row or whatever it is.
This is dumb. The headline I saw after this was like, wow, vintage Tom Brady comeback performance. And look, I guess if you're a Bucs fan, you can tell yourself that. But honestly, I don't think either team leaves this game feeling very good about themselves.
No.
The Rams especially. So maybe we should start there because
they had the game. Man, if you could run the ball, you have this game over. You win it. You run the clock out. Just get a first down. They can't run to get a first down. It's so crazy.
And speaking of players calling out their coach, I don't know if you heard the Jalen Ramsey post-game interview.
I did not.
It's interesting.
What is it?
Well, he's basically
yes.
like,
he's like we go out there, we like, oh, boom, we got him, and they're like, we need you again. It's like, I just did what I had to do, and now I'm back. When we need them, I like that.
Yeah, we just need you to get 10 yards, and the game is over.
Right.
But instead, you get a 3 and out and a punt. You give it back to Brady, and you let him do his thing. And
the defense they ran.
Yeah.
They were like letting them, like they're playing like a prevent, like you're winning by 30 points. I don't know, man.
I mean, it has to be mentioned. Look, I speak glowingly of my former Bulldogs on this podcast frequently. Perhaps you've heard me mention it.
I know.
But my man, former Bulldog Matthew Stafford, is out here bringing disgrace to his college alma mater, going 13 for 27, 165 yards. He had the 1 touchdown pass to guess who. The fact that he didn't throw a pick in this game feels kind of like a minor miracle.
Yeah.
Now, 127 of those 165 passing yards all went to Cooper Kupp.
That's insane. It's racism.
Free Allen Robinson.
Robinson got some catches though, but I don't know.
This team is a definition of a one-trick pony. It should not be any wonder why they're 3-5. I mean, Jesus, Sean McVay, what the hell are you doing? Is Allen Robinson really that bad? Like, why can you not throw him the ball? Like, Van Jefferson was bad in this game. He had 5 targets, 0 catches. He had a huge 3rd down drop where it was like right in his hand. I was like, oh my God, what's happening? But remember that Scotty Miller touchdown? That was a mess too. Brady, Brady wanted to murder that.
That shit hit him in the face.
Oof. Hit him in the motherfucking face.
There's a lot of bad football from what I watch.
There was, because the score was a whopping 7-6 at the half.
Yeah.
Thanks in large part to Bobby Wagner, who's, I mean, straight up out of this universe field goal block where he did a 2-footed hop.
Cam Chancellor
over the center and the guard.
He used to play with Cam.
I mean, that shit was not even human. I'm certain that Roger Goodell is probably going to send him a drug test notice after doing that shit. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not, humans can't do that. That's
even the blacks.
Crazy.
Even the blacks can't do that.
Yes. So obviously Brady gets the game-winning drive. First quarterback in history to throw for over 100,000 passing yards.
Nice.
He tied Peyton Manning for the most fourth quarter comeback wins in NFL history with 43. The only active quarterback who could possibly catch him would be Matty Ice, who's currently on ice with 37 fourth quarter comeback wins. So I don't see him adding to that total. And then you have Matthew Stafford, who has 34. Despite being accustomed to playing from behind in the fourth quarter, he does not look feisty enough at the moment to catch Brady.
He's like, when I'm behind, I lose. I finish what I start.
Yeah. So I don't know. The Rams, the narrative out there at the moment is that, these years of fuck them picks, and everyone else kind of getting on that train. It's like the check is due.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like it's all catching up to them.
And in the most active trade dedeadline season ever, they tried to be a player. They needed to be a player, and everybody
outrammed the Rams.
Yeah, they couldn't play. Basically. They had no picks to deal with. They had no. If they deal a player, then they're in the same predicament. They put themselves in a rough spot. And Sean McVay entertained the thought of leaving this mess that he created, and he stuck around, and now he's getting to eat some of that medicine.
Yep.
Then we had the Titans played the Chiefs.
Overtime
in Kansas City. Yeah.
Overtime thriller.
I picked the Chiefs to win. I wasn't ever worried about them losing this game. No, for some reason, the Titans have their number, even without Ryan Tannehill. They somehow made this an overtime game. I don't even know. I didn't know what to think about this.
This is crazy. Patrick Mahomes threw the ball 68 times in this game.
That's insanity.
68 times with 43 completions. He had 446 yards through the air. One touchdown. He did throw a pick. He also led the team. Yeah, he led the team in rushing with 63 yards on 6 carries. He had a rushing touchdown, which
it's a bad omen. Bad omen, man.
He probably would have led the team in receiving if they could have found somebody to throw him the ball. You can. He was going for the Charlie Trippy. Like shit. Just I'll do this. And of course, you have to compare this to Malik Willis, who did he have a worse performance than who was the other quarterback we were talking about? It was so bad this week besides Ellinger.
It was 3 for 10. That other guy. I forget.
Oh, that's right. Already. So this guy gets like the second worst.
5 for 16.
5 for 16.
It was Ellinger. Yeah, it was
80 yards passing, no touchdowns, of course.
No, it was PJ Walker, right?
Right, PJ Walker. Yeah. Derrick Henry.
Damn, the brothers ain't holding it down this week.
I know, man. Derrick Henry did his thing with his 2 touchdowns, 115 yards.
Yeah, that's what they did. They're like, hand it off, go out there, man, give the ball to the big guy. We're gonna run.
This was an interesting game because I think you're right. The Titans sort of match up in an interesting way against the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs were up 9-0 early, thanks to a touchdown from my man, former Bulldog Miko Hardman, which is not a big deal, but it's just a thing that happened. After that, it was a combo of like Titans defense sacking Mahomes 4 times, and then of course Derrick Henry kind of taking over. Also, you always think it's funny when they just do the direct wildcat snap to Henry. It's like, we don't need Malik Willis. Just get out of the way.
It's just a point A to point B. Let's go.
Can I get you a beverage?
Yeah. Hey, middleman, come over, stand over here.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, like when you think about this Titans defense, like there's some interesting facts in the numbers when you consider how the defense was able to bend without breaking. So first downs in this game, Titans had 9 first downs in this game. Chiefs had 29. Total plays, Titans 48, Chiefs 91. Total yards, Titans 229, Chiefs 499. Time of possession, Titans 26 minutes, Chiefs 41 minutes. I mean, normally that spells a Chiefs blowout.
Blowout, yes. Because most people try to keep the ball away from them. Yeah.
Yeah, and yet they were able to take this thing to overtime. And they were really frustrating the Chiefs, up 17-9 for the majority of the second half. And then Mahomes just whipped up this insane 93-yard, 13-play, 7-minute drive. Mm-hmm. And that crazy rushing touchdown that he scored. And then, of course, they get the 2-point conversion. And then the Chiefs defense took over.
Yeah.
Forcing, I think they forced back-to-back 3-and-outs, as well as a turnover on downs at the end of regulation, which allowed the Titans to have a whopping total of negative 20 total scrimmage yards.
Damn.
On those 3 yards. And that pretty much continued in overtime. The Chiefs had another
they milked it. Yeah.
Long 13-play drive that gave them the chance to kick a field goal. And then, the defense came out and just said, no, this is over. They had a huge 12-yard sack on Malik Willis, followed by a 5-yard sack. And then facing 4th and 26, no Derrick Henry in the game. You think Malik Willis is going to dig you out of that hole? Hell no. So he threw it, incomplete pass, ball game over. He was nearly a pick six, actually.
Yeah. He threw it short, too. Yeah, he threw it short of the sticks, of course. Yeah. I thought they were going to do kind of like a hook and ladder type of thing or something.
Yeah, because that always works. It worked in Miami.
Yeah,
they call it a miracle for a reason.
I think the Chiefs that was off of a bye week, and they still can't run the ball. Andy Reid, we thought was going to come out guns a-blazing, and but it could be a style of styles make fights type of thing.
Right.
Then we had the Ravens play the Saints, and this was what kept us alive betting-wise, because we picked all of the right stuff. We knew how this was going to go, and it went just as planned. You picked the Saints you picked the Ravens to win, and the Ravens did win. And I don't know, man. Ravens look good. Saints look okay. Their defense looks good, though. I was like, okay, the Saints defense, okay. Sometimes they looked really tough, but Lamar was on one, man. He was not about to lose that game. I was like, man, sometimes he looks like a video game, man.
It's crazy.
It's insane. And they end up winning 27-13. It felt like, I don't know. It was. I love to see. I'm a big Taysom Hill hater.
Right.
So I love to see when he doesn't look good. He had one pass, and they acted. The crowd loves it so much when he has something. Like he threw it out of the Wildcat, and they were just like, "Oh my god!" It was completed downfield, and they were just acting like it was the best thing ever. And yeah, I just want to throw.
I think Saints fans get excited about him because there aren't a lot of teams that have a Swiss Army knife type player, and
like your boys.
Yeah, and he's bailed the team out on numerous occasions, and obviously made some crazy big plays and stuff, but. You go up against a team like the Ravens that have a proper defense. It's like, nah, man.
Shout out to their running game. Kenyon Drake came alive in this one and was.
He sure did.
It looked like at some points the Saints, whose defense was looking good at some points, but then it's like when the Ravens needed to run the ball, they just pounded and pounded like for the entire drive. And then some drives it didn't work at all, and the Saints were all over it. But then when it was working, and Kenyon Drake was eating in this game. And I have a little soft spot in my heart for him. He used to play for the Dolphins. It was fun to see. But the combination of him, when they did the RPO with Drake and Jackson, it was like, pick your poison.
Yeah. Yeah, because Kenyon Drake, he had 24 carries for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah. And then Lamar had 11 carries for 82 yards. It's like, what are you going to – and then you compare it to the other side, and the Ravens defense just said, nope, We're not doing this Alvin Kamara bullshit tonight. He gets 9 carries for 30 yards. Like, it's not happening.
The Ravens defense, and then Roquan Smith was over there trying to make a difference.
Oh, did Roquan have a good game?
Yeah, he was out there all over the place.
I forget where he went to college. Do you remember?
No, I do not remember. And
I'm pretty sure he went to. I'm pretty sure he went to the University of Georgia, but I don't know. I'd have to look that one up. I'm not sure.
But he only had 3 tackles, but they were calling his name a lot throughout the game, being disruptive. But Justin Houston was out there balling too.
That's true.
They looked as a unit. They looked good. Marlon Humphrey, Marcus P. Like, they looked good as a defensive unit. It looked like the Ravens of old. As you can see, they only had to throw the ball a few times. Lamar Jackson didn't throw it too much. He was moving around. They were just old school Ravens football that is like made for the playoffs.
Yeah, it was a great game plan, I think, especially considering that, the Ravens have Mark Andrews did not play in this game. He's clearly their number one passing target. They just lost their top receiver. So, they were like, let's just run the rock down their throats. And that's precisely what they did. And even these 13 points that you see over here on the Saints side, I mean, that came in garbage time. This was a beatdown.
Yeah.
And that freaky touchdown where it, the Saints guy caught it and the DB thought he pushed him out of bounds, but he didn't. And he managed to kind of tiptoe down the sidelines.
Everybody kind of stopped playing. It's almost like you would have thought if somebody said a whistle blew, you would have thought that's what happened. But nope, it did not.
Yeah.
It was good on the refs to not blow the refs whistle too.
Exactly. The one thing that we forgot to mention as far as speaking of refs, Jerome Boger and his crew from the Vikings game and how the Vikings nearly lost this game to a Commanders touchdown where the ref took out.
Yes. That was the Boger crew, huh?
It was the Boger crew.
Because I remember they had another thing too.
Out. That was crazy.
There was another call that came up, and I heard his voice, but I think he got it right in this one.
Yeah.
But I forget what the call was.
When you said something about the ref, I just suddenly remembered that shit. I was like, what the fuck?
All right, it's time for the superlatives. Superlatives. Who you got for real MVP? Or should I go first? I'm ready.
Whatever. You can go.
All right. Joe Mixon had him a day against the Panthers. Whatever fight they had in them was beat out of them on the ground and in the air by Mixon. He averaged yards per carry. I didn't write it, but a lot of yards per carry for 153 yards and had an amazing Jamar Chase-like toe drag swag touchdown catch to cap off his day. I'm glad for Mixon. It's his 6th season in the NFL, all on the same team. Both are anomalies in a league that is unkind to his position. That being said, I want to give this man his flowers. And this week, Joe Mixon.
You the real MVP.
Yeah, some weeks there's only one answer to this question.
Yeah.
And this is one of those weeks.
Yeah.
Like you said, 153 yards, 22 carries, 7 yards per carry.
7, yes, a lot.
58 receiving yards. He's only the 6th player in the Super Bowl era to total 200-plus scrimmage yards and have 5 touchdowns in a single game. So, Joe motherfucking Mixon.
You the real MVP.
That's what it comes down to, man. Then we got the trash of the week. I never thought I would give this award to this team as long as number 12 was under center. But here we are. The Packers are this week's trash. If you would have told me you just got here from the future and the Lions were going to win this game, I would have said, whoa, they couldn't keep up with that Lions offense, huh? And then you told me that the Lions won 15-9. I would have asked you for whatever futuristic drugs you were smoking, because what team can't put up more than 9 points on the 26th ranked defense in the league? But futuristic you would have been right. The Packers had so many opportunities to beat the hapless Lions, yet they found a way to lose every time. Interception after interception in the red zone against a division opponent that was trying hard to lose as well. Rodgers bears much of the responsibility for this, by the way. So, the Green Bay Packers,
You are trash!
Again, some weeks there's only one answer. Honestly, the Packers and Aaron Rodgers specifically, I'm on board. And for me, it's really kind of the thing that gets under my skin with him is this kind of bitching and moaning and this going on the Pat McAfee show.
No accountability.
Where he gets to undermine the organization that he plays for every week, who I'm not excusing for the state of this current Packers team, by the way. I'm just saying that this weekly wine and cheese session that he has with his buddy Pat McAfee has always been about crafting a particular narrative for Rodgers.
Crafting. Good word.
Yeah. Where it's always somebody else's fault, right? But after this performance, what's he going to say? I mean, I'm sure he'll come up with some other bullshit to say, but his behavior, his whole vibe, the way he's responding to adversity here is not, in my opinion, befitting to what you would expect from a back-to-back MVP, a legit future Hall of Fame quarterback, who is at least in the top 5 conversation, top 5 best quarterbacks to ever do it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I've always kind of gone back and forth between liking Rodgers because he's so unique and outspoken, while also being kind of annoyed at his antics and this word salad verbal judo bullshit that he does all the time. But right now I'm feeling more the latter, just kind of annoyed with the bullshit.
Yeah.
I think it's time for Rodgers to take some responsibility for this dumpster fire, which I think he is to a certain degree, but because this situation he's in is very much of his own making to a certain degree. I don't know. I just think it's plain to see that this week Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers are
trash.
Trash, absolutely.
The shit that got learned. Mine is Jim Irsay don't give a fuck about optics. Jim Irsay is the owner of the Colts. You alluded to this as well earlier. He recently broke traditional owner silence by saying "fuck your couch" to Dan Snyder.
Fuck your couch.
He didn't care about the skeletons in his closet. He knew Snyder had to go. I actually think that's what got the ball rolling on this sale, which will be a crazy score for Snyder anyway, when we think about it money-wise. Then he pulls the executive card and gets Matt Ryan benched in order to avoid activating a contract bonus that would pay Ryan even more. Then he fired Frank Reich, which isn't much of a surprise right now, but replacing Reich with former coach, Colt, and friend Jeff Saturday was unapologetic nepotism. Saturday wasn't on staff with the Colts. He was an ESPN analyst, though one of the better ones, I admit. His coaching experience tops off at the high school level. But did that matter to Irsay? No, because he doesn't give a fuck about optics. And that's the shit that I learned this week. What you got? What shit did you learn?
Well, besides learning that the Falcons will never run out of ways to invent a loss, I learned that I learned that Justin Fields is, in my opinion, the best quarterback of this heralded 2021 QB class. Now, I know he lost to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you right here, right now, when it's all said and done, and all the mock draft nerds who like to redo all the drafts of days gone by, as if anyone fucking cares, at some point, it'll be an absolute consensus that T-Law, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance,
Damn.
Mac Jones, and Davis Mills all pale in comparison to what Justin Fields can do, especially given how they now have a legit opportunity to build around this kid with all these coming draft picks that they have. It's a slow-moving, like long game type of hot take that I'm offering here, but I am confident that history will shine brightly on this message, brought to you by the very great, extremely wise, and untraditionally handsome Schif Stradamus. You can book it, write it down, because this shit is happening.
I like it.
That's what I learned.
Scariest AFC teams. You got one?
Yes. Now, okay.
Uh-oh. I know what you're
I want to preface this by saying, I want to preface this by saying that despite a loss to the Jets, the Bills are still a very scary football team. Okay. So I'm not saying they're not scary.
Okay.
All right. I think losing a game like this might actually be the best thing that could happen to them right now, if I'm being honest.
Good point.
So, it gives them a chance to kind of cool down all this, like everyone's punching their ticket to the Super Bowl bullshit. You know what I mean? You still got to earn it.
Yeah.
If you're going to get punched in the mouth, this is the time to get punched in the mouth so that you don't have to get punched later. But after this week, I have to say, for me, it's a straight up coin toss between the Kansas City Chiefs and your Miami Dolphins.
Ooh.
Like I honestly can't pick it. I've been hinting at this for a few episodes now. Everyone knows that the Chiefs are a tough out. I don't need to tell anybody that. But when they don't, they manage to win games even when they don't play their best game. Yeah. But these Dolphins, I'm here now. It's like, do you really want to play them in a playoff game right now? Like, to me, when I have to think about like scary, like we're halfway through the season. We're starting to think about the playoffs a little bit. If you draw the Miami Dolphins in the playoffs, do you really want to do that right now?
Yeah, they'll be getting a headache.
My answer is hell no.
Yeah.
So to me, I think I think that's true for the Chiefs. I think it's true for the Bills. I think it's true for the whoever. Like they're gonna go into a playoff game facing the Miami Dolphins, going, "Fuck, man, we got to figure something out here. Like, what are we gonna do?"
I just thought about Dolphins Chiefs if they played each other.
Talk about sexy, Jesus Christ!
That's a sexy matchup. Like they would. Be like the whole revenge talking thing, the storyline.
Press pause. I got to go change my adult male diaper real quick. I think I just shit myself.
All right. Scariest AFC team. Nobody for me this week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The AFC left a weird taste in my mouth. The AFC this week was like
Speaking of sexy.
The AFC this week was like when you have one of those weird throw up burps. That's sit in the back of your throat, and then they have an aftertaste of a hot dogs, and you're like, I haven't had a hot dog in months. That's the AFC right now. The Bills got beat by the Jets, and Allen is a little banged up. He might be injured. Got a little elbow injury. The Chiefs had trouble again against the Titans. The Dolphins have an explosive, shiny, and sexy offense, but their defense made the rebuilding Bears look like a perennial playoff squad. I left week 9 with more AFC questions than answers. So I'm going to say the jury's still out on that.
Interesting.
Scariest NFC team?
Well, I think maybe I'm just a little tired of saying that the Eagles are the scariest team in the NFC because they're undefeated.
Yeah.
Obviously it's hard to ignore their soft schedule when you watch some of these other teams out here fighting tooth and nail to get these wins. And also I feel like we're getting to that part of the season where I am thinking this goes back to my Dolphins take, where I'm looking beyond the record and I'm just kind of like really thinking about what I'm seeing on the field. Yeah. And what I would truly be the most frightened to deal with at the moment. And right now in the NFC, I'm feeling these Seahawks, bro. We all know that Geno is having a moment that nobody would have predicted. But these coaches deserve a major shout out because I've said it before. They turned this defense from worst to first. I don't know if they're first, but to the top 5 anyway.
Yeah, Pete Carroll, man, he should be a coach of the year conversation.
Absolutely. I mean, they're currently in the top 5, top 10 of all defensive metrics at the moment. I'm talking takeaways, sacks, QB hits, tackles for a loss. I mean, this is definitely a top 10 defense. Combined with Geno playing better than we ever could have imagined, combined with this running back that they got, combined with the fact that they still have Lockett and Metcalf, it's like, and Noah Fant is starting to come on. It's like, I don't know. I don't want to play these Seahawks. I would never want to play them. So that's where I'm at.
I like it. I said the Eagles again. I just feel like
because you're a basic bitch.
Exactly. They beat the Tex. They beat another tomato can. They're Roy Jones. They're Roy Jones Jr. If we fight, who do they get put in front of us? And I'm just gonna beat the shit out of them. And they beat the Texans, but this was their most complete performance, I think, where they kind of didn't let off the gas, and they had a little bit of adversity, and they figured it out. And so I got to stick with the Eagles, man, until further notice.
Each and every one in the building, baby.
Each and every one in the building. And then our final new segment that we laughed about on the phone, and now we're going to do it now, is we got to put some spec on some names. All right? Who we going to put some spec on, man? Who earned some respect? And I'm going to say first and foremost that I have not put some spec on this person's name. And that's Geno Smith, man. It's time for me to do that, man. He's just balling for real. And last year, this time of the year, I would have had to put some spec on Josh Allen's name because I was out here hating. And this year, since it's the first time we're doing it, I'm going to have to
put some respect on my name
for Geno Smith.
That's a good candidate. I could have gone with Geno as well, but I think this week I'm going to go with Justin Fields. Again, we said it. Even in a loss, this guy, like, have you ever seen a quarterback that felt more like a winner in a loss? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You really get the sense that this kid is coming on. Yeah. He's coming alive.
Burford's just doing a great job with him.
Yeah, finally, it seems like they understand what they have and that they actually – because when a new coach comes in with a quarterback like that, it's like, all right, well, I didn't draft this kid, and you don't know if they're really going to give him a chance. And in the first couple of games of the year, it kind of felt like, okay, are they just trying to self-sabotage so that they can move on from Justin Fields? What's going on here? And then finally, they figured out a way to make it click, and this kid is catching fire. I think I'm rooting for him. And I think he definitely deserves all the respect that he's starting to get. So put some respect on his name.
You said it right with it.
Put some respect on my name.
That's been another episode of SveNFL. Thanks so much for checking it out. That has been week 9 in the books. We'll be back with a week 10 preview. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, until then, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, man. Thanks again, man. It's been Jonathan Rollins
and Schif Musara
for another wrap-up episode of SveNFL. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Later, y'all.